This is not a city built on land, not on stone foundations, not on hills or valleys. This city rises from water. A vast lake stretches to the horizon. No roads lead into it, no walls surround it, and yet it became one of the greatest cities on earth. Welcome to Tenochtitlan, the so-called City of Gold. But gold was never its greatest power. In the early 14th century, the people who would build this city were not powerful. They were wanderers, outsiders, a group known as the Mexica. They arrived in the Valley of Mexico after generations of migration. No kingdom, no permanent home, and no city to call their own. According to their legends, they were searching for a sign, a vision promised by their god, Huitzilopochtli. They were told to settle where they saw an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a serpent. For years they found nothing. Hostile city-states surrounded them. They were pushed onto the least desirable land. A swamp, a cluster of small islands in the middle of Lake Texcoco. It was unstable, flooded, barely habitable. But then they saw it. An eagle, perched on a cactus, holding a serpent. The sign. In 1325, they made a decision that would change history. They would build a city here, Moctezuma II. At the height of its power, the ruler of this empire was Moctezuma II. He governed a vast territory, controlled tribute from dozens of regions, commanded armies that could crush resistance. But his reign would coincide with something unexpected, something no one in Tenochtitlan had ever seen before. Strangers. In 1519, ships appeared along the eastern coast of Mexico. On board were men unlike any the Mexica had encountered. They wore metal armor, carried weapons that thundered, rode animals never seen in the Americas. They were led by a man named Hernán Cortés. At first, reports of these strangers seemed distant, almost unreal. But as they moved inland, defeating local tribes, forming alliances with enemies of the Mexica, their presence became impossible to ignore. Some believed they were gods. Others saw them as invaders. Moctezuma hesitated, and that hesitation would change everything. Because the city that rose from water, the city that conquered empires, the city that shone like gold under the sun, was about to face its greatest threat. Not from within, but from across the sea. The strangers did not arrive as an army. Not at first. They arrived as a possibility, a rumor turning into reality. As Hernán Cortés marched inland, he did not face the full power of the Mexica Empire. Instead, he found something unexpected. Enemies. Many city-states under Aztec rule were not loyal. They paid tribute. They sent captives. They feared Tenochtitlan, but they did not love it. Cortés exploited this. He formed alliances with groups like the Tlaxcalans, fierce rivals of the Mexica. Thousands joined his forces, not to defend Tenochtitlan, but to destroy it. As the Spanish advanced, another invisible force moved with them. Disease, smallpox. It spread faster than any army. The people of Tenochtitlan had no immunity. Within months, entire communities were devastated. Leaders died. Warriors weakened. Society began to fracture from within. This was not a battle they could fight. Tenochtitlan. A city rising from the water. Causeways stretched across the lake like narrow bridges. Temples towered above whitewashed buildings. Canals cut through neighborhoods filled with movement. Even the Spanish, who had seen cities across Europe, were stunned. One soldier later wrote that it looked like something from a dream, a city floating on water. Orderly, massive, alive. Moctezuma II chose not to resist immediately. Instead, he welcomed Cortés into the city. Historians still debate why. Some believe he thought Cortés might be connected to the god Quetzalcoatl. Others argue it was a political calculation, an attempt to understand the enemy before striking. Whatever the reason, it was a turning point, because once inside the city, Cortés made his move. Moctezuma was taken hostage inside his own palace. The ruler of one of the most powerful empires in the world was now a prisoner. Tension filled the city. The Mexica watched, waited, and eventually they revolted. In 1520, violence erupted across Tenochtitlan. Spanish forces were attacked. Streets turned into battlegrounds. Bridges were destroyed. Causeways became traps. This moment became known as La Noche Triste, the Night of Sorrows. As Cortés attempted to flee the city under cover of darkness, his forces were discovered. Thousands were killed while trying to escape across the causeways. Gold weighed them down. Many drowned in the lake. It was a devastating defeat, but not the end. Cortés regrouped, rebuilt his forces, and prepared for something far more destructive. A siege. In 1521, Spanish forces and their allies returned. This time they didn't try to enter the city peacefully. They surrounded it, cut off food supplies, destroyed aqueducts. Tenochtitlan was no longer protected by the lake. It was trapped by it. For months, the city resisted. Street by street, canal by canal, fighting continued in brutal, close combat. The Mexica adapted quickly. They attacked canoes. They rebuilt barricades overnight. They used the city itself as a weapon. But the situation grew desperate. Food ran out. Clean water disappeared. Disease spread even faster. Bodies filled the canals. The once great city began to collapse from within. One of the most haunting facts recorded by Spanish accounts describes the final days. Starving citizens were forced to eat whatever they could find, even the bark of trees, even leather. The markets that once fed tens of thousands stood empty. And then, in August 1521, it ended. The last ruler of Tenochtitlan, Cuauhtémoc, was captured while trying to flee the city. Resistance collapsed. The empire fell. What followed was not just defeat, it was destruction. The Spanish began dismantling Tenochtitlan. Temples were torn down. Stones were reused. Canals were filled. Over time, the city disappeared beneath a new one, built directly on its ruins. But even in destruction, traces remained. And some facts still feel almost unreal. Tenochtitlan had running water before many European cities. It had organized waste collection systems, floating gardens that could produce multiple harvests a year, and a population rivaling the largest cities in the world at the time. It was not primitive. It was advanced in ways outsiders did not understand. Another curious detail. The city was so clean that Spanish soldiers reportedly complained. They were used to dirtier environments in Europe. Tenochtitlan had regulations for street cleaning, public order, market inspections, even judges who enforced laws daily. And then there was the gold. When the Spanish searched the city, they found treasures beyond imagination. Masks, jewelry, ceremonial objects, but most of it did not survive. Much of the gold was melted down into bars, its artistic value lost forever. The city of gold, reduced to raw metal. Today, almost nothing of the original skyline remains beneath the streets of modern Mexico City. The foundations of Tenochtitlan still exist. Archaeologists continue to uncover temples, offerings, and artifacts, pieces of a city that once dominated an entire region. Because Tenochtitlan was more than a capital. It was a vision. A city built where no city should exist. A civilization that turned water into strength. and for nearly 2 centuries it worked. A floating empire, a city of power, a city of gold, rising from the lake and disappearing beneath it. To watch more interesting videos, visit our YouTube channel.